Do you ever realize that you're a once-in-a-lifetime event in the whole space-time continuum? Isn't that special? In this episode, we are going to talk about the aspect of yourself that makes you unique, what makes you original, and this in astrology, it is the significator of the planet Uranus in your natal chart. So let's dig in. Hi, this is Nissa with VNS Mystery School, and you're watching Cosmic Little Lessons, your adventure every Wednesday to bridge the gap between you and the language of the universe. After the planet series and the last episode, we talked about the difference between the inner and the outer planets. So now in this episode and the next two, we're going to talk about the modern planets, the outer planets, starting with Uranus and then Neptune, followed by Pluto. Now, the planet Uranus, here it's considered modern because for the longest time, with the naked eyes, for thousands of years, the outer realm that you can see is the planet Saturn. And of course, this is now known in astrology realm as the traditional planets because that's what has been visible for thousands of years prior to the invention of the telescope. Now, the our contact with the planet Uranus happens in the year of 1781, and this is the age of enlightenment, of discovery, and as well as invention of technology. Therefore, the planets that you can only see with the advancement of technologies considered the modern planets. And of course, because we have only learned about Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, in the spectrum of the history, just the latest blimp of time, which is the past 300 years, versus, the seven wanderers, the seven traditional planets have way long histories prior to the 17th century. So this is the reason why there's traditional and modern planets that also reflect in the philosophy of astrology. So when we're going to talk about the planet Uranus here, I'm going to talk about the archetype of the planet. So Uranus here also is association. It's the house of astrology of the 11th house and also the sign of the zodiac, Aquarius. So I just want to make a distinction. Personally, when it comes to Aquarius, I feel the ruler planet is still Saturn. However, the modern association of the Aquarius symbol is the planet Uranus. Here, we're talking about a planet with a very interesting orbit. And as we're entering the outer planet, the orbit around the sun becomes slower. And when the time becomes slower, this gives you a different timeline of cycles. Therefore, outer planets defines generations for the most part. With Uranus, the cycle around your chart, the 360 degrees, is 84 years. So not most people don't see Uranus returns back to the point of their chart unless they're 84 years and above, if you're lucky to live that long, of course. And with Neptune and Pluto, no one lived that long to actually have the cycle of the planet returns to that point again. So here, the planet Uranus, it is a planet that is the higher octave of the planet Mercury. So Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. And Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. And of course, here we're gonna just talk about the archetype while you can catch up on the other episodes that I've made if you don't understand the symbolisms up till this point. So here, the planet Uranus, the one thing that really defines this archetype, it's gravity toward progress. Now, Uranus has two glyphs in astrology, where a very popular one, you have the very center, the cross of the matter, time and space, the cross, and then attached to that you have the two moons, so two receptors here of what's going on. And the axis of time and space with the two moons here is rising above the spirit of ourself. But I actually also think the other glyph of Uranus is very symbolizing and much sharper the energy of Uranus, which is the circle, and then you have the arrow pointed up. I know the arrow slightly pointed slightly to angles is considered Mars, but upward is all about progress, and this is the planet Uranus. So what Uranus, the outer planets here, played within us. When we're talking about outer planets, we are talking about forces that is sometimes beyond our conscious mind. So it's very powerful. And what Uranus wants to do is an expression of yourself that is outside of the traditions that you've been fed. So here, the 11th house associations of the planet Uranus. 11th house here talks about groups and like-minded people. So to give you an illustration, Uranus is, say, if somebody is punk or rockabilly or like me, an astrologer, it is something that you're not born with, but in this lifetime you choose, and that definitions that defines a group of people becomes part of your identity. So when we're talking about nerds or divas, dorks, the queens, this is definitely 11 house associations as well. Again, what really defines you and what really makes you unique. And here, not only the purpose of the Uranus, the pull of the Uranus is toward progress. What I really want you to understand about this archetype and also the archetype of Aquarius, this is a higher octave of Mercury that moves very, very fast. Our mind moves very, very fast. Now, however, our emotional body metabolize things a lot slower. So within this archetype, sometimes you encounter this detachment of the emotions because of just that gap in terms of speed. And while more of your Uranus part is activated, then you're choosing more mind over your emotions. So that's the thing about the Uranus. So where is Uranus in your chart? Which house placement and what sign do you have the Uranus? The house is where this originality plays out, and the zodiac will actually gives it the flavor and the nuance of this placement in your chart. I know this is also generationals. So when Uranus is prevalent in your chart, it's when it's having a very close conversation, say, with your sun, moon, or all your angles and personal planets. When you find outer planets within the 5-degree orb of the conversation, then this trans-Saturnian planets are now no longer trans-Saturnian. You become the embodiment of that particular archetype. So what do you think? Do you identify with the Uranus placement? And what does that story reveals you and what's unique about you and your path in the future? Please share and like. And thank you so much for watching Cosmic Little Lessons. We're going to continue this series with Neptune next week in Cosmic Little Lessons. And also, if you're in the Bay, I have an event coming up Sunday, November 3rd. It is an astrology workshop where we're going to learn the axis of our ascendant and our descendant. And this is what I call learning the light and shadow in your life. And we will actually learn all of this through the Persephone's mythology and her journey. I hope you enjoy it. Please stay tuned and join us on Instagram as I write most days and share more than the videos on my Instagram. Thank you so much for being part of Mystery School, and I will see you very soon.